Okay. So hopefully by the end of this meeting, what I'll do is I'm gonna try and answer all your questions, and also pretty much give me any other concerns you have, and then we talk about the hosting side of things and um, go from there.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. So your website is built with WordPress as a platform, and
Right.
I've already you can see my screen, right? Just to confirm, you can see your website.
No, all I see is hang tight. You've not shared anything.
Oh, okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah.
There we go. I got it.
Good thing I asked that. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, like I said, it's built with WordPress. I've already sent you the login credentials. When you log in the back end, um, this is what you see. Okay, and to edit the pages, after you log in, the best approach is to just go to the main website, and you see on the very top banner here, every page that you're at, you can immediately edit that page where you're at. Makes it easy to go about editing the pages that way. Okay. So, for instance, to edit the home page, we click on Edit. Okay. It launches that page. I'm gonna take over because it looks like you have that
Oh,
page.
yeah, I'll just turn off that page. I'll just get out of there.
Oh, that's fine. And what this
There you
does
go.
what this does is it prevents exactly if someone is doing an update, and that way there's no confliction in play. That was what that was.
Okay.
Okay. So to edit a page, this is the backend content management editor. Okay. It's broken down. I call it into 3 sections. So 3 section is the menu, the main menu on the very left hand side, which is in the black box. Okay, the content.
Okay.
The very big middle section is the content. Okay, and then on the very right hand corner is the pretty much the publish, the page attributes, and layout and stuff like that. Okay. And in most cases, what you're going to end up doing is pretty much concentrating on the middle page and then updating the page. Okay. The program that handles the content editor pretty much has it laid out exactly the way the home page is laid out. Okay. So if we go back and forth, this whole section is a feature. So you can see it says a full width easy slider. Okay.
Okay.
So if you come down here, it says trusted by, and then it has all these imagery. You go in the back end, you can see that trusted by, and then all the imagery is handled by partner logo elements. You can see that.
Okay.
So it's very easy to understand where things are laid out and where to go to edit on each page. Okay, so like for instance, we have ad-based team building, no ropes, no crying, no kumbaya. If you double click on that, it brings up the dialog box. Okay, and this dialog box is pretty much like any other word editor. So you can come in here and make changes as need be. And each time you make a change, you always want to remember, Karen, there's several level of you have to save each section and then publish the page. Okay, so if you make a change here,
Do you have to publish it? Do you have to publish it for each change, or could you make a whole bunch of changes and then publish one?
you can make a whole bunch of changes and publish. So let me kind of explain.
Okay.
So anytime you make a change on each one of these elements, it has to be saved. Okay.
Okay.
So when you publish a page, your page is then going to update to all the changes you've made. Okay. So if you come in here and make multiple changes and publish, you can go about doing it that way, and it's going to update the page. Okay.
Okay.
But if you go into each one of these elements and you make a change without saving, and say you click out or exit, that changes will not reflect.
Okay.
Okay.
And as we're making changes, Philip, are the fonts standard throughout this? It'll just do those fonts, or do I have to adjust that?
So there's something called global features. Okay, what a global feature is that it applies to every page. So like with the fonts, if you get into a little bit of advanced, and I'll discourage you from doing that. The reason is that you have to go into the settings and change and do a whole bunch of advanced style editing changes. So I have, and it's there, but when you start going in there, it then gets a little bit more complicated for you, the client, and then you're gonna have a whole lot of questions because it gets a little bit advanced. So
well, yeah, I don't want to change any of that. But if I am working on like that art-based team building, that's a global font, so it would come up automatically.
right, so I do have a global font. So you see where this one right here says the art base with the script.
Yeah.
This is a global font, and I'm gonna show you what that means. So if we go in here and you click on this, where the editor, and if you highlight this, you see that it's the heading 4.
Right.
So anytime you have any text and you highlight it and change it to heading 4, it's gonna mimic that global setting.
Okay.
Okay. So if you bring down, these are the heading types. So I think heading 5 is what the script is. So anywhere you see this right here, it's heading 5. We'll make it look like that. I hope I'm making sense.
You are, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if you go down to the sub pages, anytime you see a script happening here, it's changed to heading 5. Immediately you highlight any text that you wanted to have that script look, it's gonna change to heading 5, and that's where you change it in the global features. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I think the only global font feature I have is just that one. You can have multiple different types. It gets a little bit crazy. But every other font is standard. So when it's standard, so like where it says this one here, no crying, no kumbaya, this one right here is a standard font, and you can actually go in and change the color if you want to. I think that's what I did here. One thing I want you to ignore is I do use a program that does a whole bunch of spell check and grammar. So you're going to see that it's going to behave a little bit different than what you're going to see. So, but again, you can go in and make changes like that. Am I clear at this point?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a look at more of like an image. Let's go back to the home page. So right here, which is an image gallery in the back end, it's this one here. It's called full width slider. So you can see this dialog box handles all the imagery and makes it look good without having to go in and do any scripting. Okay. So you, the user, when you come in here, it tells you have the option to add multiple images. So you can keep adding images. And like I said, this is a custom image, Karen. So there's a few things happening here. Is that I've created a custom graphic that rotates. Okay, so this whole thing is an image. So you can say upload any other images. But the other issue too is that the image handler pretty much handles image based on its size. Okay. So if you happen to have 3 images with different sizes, what happens is it's going to end up pushing the page down. So you have one image that's like, it has a height of 200 pixels and the other image that has a height of 300 pixels. What happens is the other image comes down. Since it's big, it's going to take more space, so it pushes the whole element below down. Okay, so it makes it look, it starts looking very unprofessional, and it doesn't look correct. Okay, so every image I upload here needs to have the exact same dimensions. And usually when you take a raw photo with your camera, in most cases it doesn't stay the exact same dimensions. I hope you're still with me. I haven't lost you.
Nope. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you use a program to make all pictures the same size?
You do. I mean, to get very professional look of this, I mean, you can use the simple program editor, free editors that come with your computer, but you need a more advanced, graphic design program that can give you that flexibility to create all these effects. Okay. So that's why on the home page, ideally, the home banner, you don't want to change it as often. I mean, you can, but like I said, you might want to have me do it. Or if you believe you want to constantly do that yourself, what we can do then is just take out the graphic elements and just have you stick with the fixed dimension imagery that you're gonna upload each time.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want it to look like it looks. It's perfect. I just want different photos in there because the pictures that are there aren't the power of them. So I put pictures for you, like that one that's on now is fine. That Kaboom one needs to go out. So I sent you new pictures in the Dropbox, and it says slider.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that too with you, Karen. And then we can. I have it here. I did take a look at it. You still there?
Hello?
Hi. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I lost you or you lost me.
Yeah, you just all of a sudden weren't there.
Okay. But you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So back to what I was talking about, every element on the page is made such that you, the user on the back end, can pretty much go in and make changes. But your limitation, your only limitation is how the graphics are set up. Because you can go and change this graphic, but if the graphic is not the right dimension and if it's not correct, it's gonna start not looking right. Okay. So scrolling down here, I'll show you here too. Right behind this section, you see there's an image in play.
Right.
So if we come down, you're gonna see that right here where it says Ad Base Team Building, it sits within a container. Okay. So how the pages are set up is like you see that all these sections, it's actually containers that allow all these elements to sit within the containers and render a certain graphic design. Okay. So within the containers, it allows you to edit and create effect as well. So if we come here, you're gonna see it says color. I'll roll over color selection. And then when you roll over that container, it changes into these icons. Okay.
Right.
One of them is edit section. One of them is clone section. One of them is save element as a template. So if you go ahead and click on edit section, it brings you to these dialog box. That gives you option to do a whole bunch of changes to it. Okay. So if you come to section background, this is the imagery that's behind here. Okay. But I've added another layer of sophistication to it, whereby the section background overlay, I put an overlay on it such that the image doesn't compete with the elements that's sitting on top of it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how I came up with that effect. Is it making sense to you now?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I love the effect.
Okay. So the next section, if you come down here, you go into the back. If you go, we'll X out of this because we don't need. Scroll down. It says for programmers tailored to your team. This whole section is in its own container, and then this is the imagery, which is these ones right here. Okay. So if you come into the editor, you can keep adding images, but obviously these are all the four service you provide at this time. So this is all you want to have. But say if you want to come and change this image, you're going to need to add it to the gallery. So you click on add to gallery, and what it does is it allows you to browse your image gallery, okay, which is pretty much anything you've already uploaded to the image, okay, and then you can maybe select that. When you select that, it gives you an option to add a custom link. Okay, and right now on the home page, all these have custom links because it has a landing page. If you click on collaborative canvas, it brings you to these pages. Okay, so if you add in an image and you wanted to pretty much go onto a landing page, you want to make sure you copy the URL, which is this right here. And then when you add the image, you paste the link in play.
Okay.
Okay, and then you add to the gallery. Okay, and then within the gallery, you go back home. All these images has a caption. So communicate, goal settings, collaborate, team building. So you can see it right here. Do you see it? So the imagery that you just added, you can add a caption. Okay. And then when you insert into gallery, and you save and publish the page, it's going to add it to this.
Okay.
Okay, but we don't want to do that.
Right.
So I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to simply X this out. Say, save the process. And I don't need to publish it because I don't want to, publish any changes that we might have done.
Okay.
Okay, this is pretty much just showing you how to edit each page as need be. So the other element, if you come down here, which is corporations, that's what I just did here. So you're gonna see there's all these containers that arranges the elements on the page well. So if you need to change stuff in here, you just click on that dialog box. You scroll down, and it has the content editor right there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, in a nutshell, like I said, every element on the page allows you to go in and edit. Editing the page is the easy part. The most difficult part is how the graphic and the elements is rearranged on the page. Is what gets more complicated when you need a little more graphic design background. But you can pretty much go on all the pages and change an image or do whatever you need to do. Except the ones that are more graphic design intense. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is, again, with me, like you already know, anything that you put on your page, it needs to have 100% absolute. There needs to be an intent to it. If you can't explain the intent, then it truly doesn't need to be there. Okay. So the photos that you gave me, let's see here. Go back. That's photos, slider photos. I kind of want you to walk me through, why you picked all these. I'm just kind of trying to understand, your logic, and then just kind of give you my professional point of view. Okay, because the biggest thing we need to make sure we solve each time we update the page is that I consider your business more like an aggressive startup, in the sense that you are looking to increase your clientele. Okay. With some businesses, that's not their main target because they've already hit like a max target for what they are doing, that they don't need to be very aggressive. When I say be very aggressive, meaning you dumb things down such that people coming in do not have to work to understand what you're trying to sell them. Okay. So, as an advisor, online marketing, and based on your business model, and correct me if I'm wrong, your main categories that you're trying to sell are these, collaborative canvas painting, kaboom, Kanban's conversation, train the trainer, and they all fall under these four categories fall under these different clientele,
corporations,
nonprofit, and family.
Correct. So what I'm trying to do with the slider, and what I'm pointing out, is that these gentlemen that are on the screen right now, that's what I'm trying to sell primarily, is the collaborative art. And I need people to see a couple of things. One, that it is that men like to do it, and secondly, that all ages like to do it. That might not be the best photo ever, but the lighting is really good in it. And if it and if we flip that photo, if we mirror image that, then the swoop of the Canvas Creek will just kind of come out to their faces.
Okay. So, I mean, you made mention of some important facts there is age, gender. So age, gender is the key thing you're trying to work around here.
The other big thing I mentioned to this to you once before is that I somehow, and it's so hard in billings, but I somehow have to have ethnicities in there as well, which this picture doesn't capture ethnicities, but I lost a huge contract because my pictures were too light.
Right. I think you made mention of that too.
Yeah.
And, at times you don't have that much control based on your location and people you service, right?
Right.
They don't know you work with someone like me.
Exactly right. We need your picture on the front, Philip. But which I do think that's funny. And eventually there will be more of those photos as I get out and about.
Right.
So this captures men, and I love that the lighting is really bright.
Right. Okay.
And they're all smiling. You can tell that they worked on that together.
So this is my recommendation. And again, the reason I do that is with every business, there's a stage that you fall in and there's some elements that you need to highlight. And your stage, I call that aggressive, because I think you're in a stage, you need to be aggressive in the sense that you're in a stage where you want to grow your clientele to a certain level that you can decide that I don't want to grow any bigger. Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, that's where you at, because right now you want to compete nationally.
Right.
So that said, you know what you're trying to explain, but the imagery does not answer that.
No, but this one answers it better than the ones that are in the slider now.
Okay. So this
I absolutely agree with you. This isn't perfect, but it's better than nothing.
So I'm gonna update that, and again, I try to understand the psychology behind what you're doing, and if it doesn't match the fit, I'll let you know, and if you still want to proceed. But I think this does, and I understand where you're coming from with selecting this image.
Right. The smiles are the most important. That's one of the things people mention when they go to the website, that everybody in our pictures is smiling.
Correct. Yes.
So this picture that's on the screen now, what's the one before?
Okay. This one?
That one. I love it because it's got ethnicity, because, everybody, we're together, but it doesn't work because their faces are kind of blotted out.
Okay.
Do you think that it's okay? I mean, I like the idea of it, but it's also a cheesy team-building photo.
So I'm gonna have to take a look at the image. The only thing if there's enough space on the top of the image that I can bring, kind of move it down that way their faces is not covered. So that's
an idea.
There's a few things, I think the transparency with the site gives it a really appealing look.
Me too, yeah.
There's an option to take that transparency option out and just have the image drop down the header. But it makes it look like any other website.
Yeah, no, I like what you've done with that. I think that photo it just didn't really work with, but this one has ages, ethnicity, it has smiles, so it's a good photo.
It
meets our
is.
criteria.
So what
Yeah.
I'll note it down here and I'll confirm if I can move.
Okay.
Just 1 minute whilst we're here. I'm
Okay.
gonna try and open up. See if I can open up the graphic itself. Let's see. See if I can bring this up. Oops. I had way too much stuff open. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
Yep.
So this is the image. And I don't know.
Oh, there's nothing on top.
So I mean, there's a few things I can do though. I can manipulate this graphic and make it work. I'm gonna have to fill in the gap on the top, and pretty much try and bring this down. Because I think this is like one of the.
Is it worth it to do that, Philip, or should we just replace it?
Well, the question is, I mean, do you have any photo that can answer all those things you're trying to answer with this image? Age, gender, demographic and stuff. If you do, then yeah. But if you don't, and this is what you got, you might want to work around this.
So let me look around just a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll look at that, and I'll give you an answer just right away this morning. I'll go deep into the pictures. That one doesn't do it, but it's still that's an info.
Right. So, and one rule of thumb with the homepage slider is you don't want to go beyond 3 sliders. Because after 3 sliders, you don't truly get people waiting to see all the through all the sliders.
Right.
The only time people look into that is, after they've done their research and, they are set on calling you or working with you, that they start taking a look at, they start paying more attention to stuff. Okay. But,
Right.
for the skimmer that comes in, that's initially researching and just wants information really quick. Anything beyond 3, doesn't serve you any. It wouldn't serve you any advantage at all.
Okay.
So
So this photo is okay. It's not fabulous, but it's okay. They're all smiling. There's a guy in it, and it's okay. But the next one I think has kaboom.
right,
No, not that one. So we need to take that out.
sure,
Because now that I've sold the studio, I'm going to not do kaboom. I thought that I would.
okay.
Actually, no, I don't want to take them completely out. I just don't want that photo in the top.
Sure. So Kaboom is still part of your services, right? Or is that you sold that piece?
Well, it's a difficult part of my service now that I sold the studio. I can still do it, but I'd rather not. I'd rather do the collaborative art.
So do we have to pretty much update the whole site by taking that Kaboom option out?
Well, yes, but I think I would just change it to Mobile Art Studio, which we haven't really touched on a great deal. So
Okay.
if we just change Kaboom to Mobile Art Studio, and I can do those changes,
Okay.
I think based on what you showed me this morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And because it's not hard. It's just that slider photo. I'm not
Right.
capable of doing that. So if we replace that with the picture we talked about earlier, and then looking at that photo all smiling.
Okay, so you're thinking we should just replace that Kaboom with this one here.
Yeah, so let's talk about another photo in here, and then you give me your expert opinion on what you think. So go.
So there's that. There's
So-
4 photos.
Yeah, I chose that one just because there's a lot of people in it, but it's all women. So I don't know that that's the best.
Right.
I do like that there we have ethnicity in there, and we have that team building feel.
Right.
But I think their faces are still going to get blotted out.
Yeah.
Then let's go one more. So the reason this one is in there is because this is what I want to do. This is a hotel conference room. There were 400 people in the room. And I don't have great photos of that, but this helps people to understand that we do work with large groups.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I do have that element in here in the very bottom where there's testimonials, but we can
that's right.
we can bring it in here. That way it's more visual, because that's one is a little bit settled, just to create an effect. But we can replace that with this one,
Okay.
the Kaboom
So let's do
image.
that.
Okay. Let me make a note. Okay, copy. Let me actually. I think I might already have this image downloaded on my machine. So.
I think you probably do.
Okay. All right. So, pretty much, the site editor, the reason I use that editor is I've been doing this for so long. and I pretty much researched a solution that works really well for all my clients. Is the standard WordPress website is not very intuitive to make changes, but this functionality whereby the layer is built this way makes it extremely easy to make changes to very fancy looking websites like these. So
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't foresee you having any issues going in and not being able to do much.
No, I do think that it's what you've done is really easy to work with, and I'll be able to do it.
Right.
Except for that spider photo. That's beyond me.
Right. So the other thing you did ask is the blog.
Right.
So at this time, on the very top, I don't think we have the blog displayed. I just have it on the footer section. So if you click in here, it takes you to the blog, and this is one of your old
Right.
blogs that I brought in here just to have a little bit of information, at least in your blog section. So I'll show you real quick back onto you can always edit, just like any other page, edit a blog from right when you go to that page, or even create a new blog. So if you roll over new, it gives you several options here. There's the post option, there's the media, there's the pages, there's the events, portfolio, and user. So posts is actually what the blog is. Okay. Page media is pretty much adding photo images to your media gallery. And then pages is actually creating another page within the site. Okay, so if you blog in, you want to make sure you actually posting instead of creating a page. So we'll go back to the dashboard, and then you're gonna see right here on the left hand menu there's posts. There's all post option, add new posts, categories, and tags. So we'll just go to all posts, and this is the team builder post that we already have published. So if we go and we click on new, add new, it does the exact same thing. So you can actually then, the first thing you need to do is give it a title of the blog posts. Okay. And with the posts, it's just that simple. You pretty much give it a title, and then you write your content. Okay. If you want to insert an image, you basically arrow down wherever you want, and then you click on Add Media.
And do you think every post should have media in it?
I think so. The reason is that, the reason I say that too is, at this stage of your business, you want it to be anything you post, you want it to be extremely juicy. When I say juicy, meaning you want people to really stick and consume the content. Okay, so anything that you can help do that is good. And in most cases, I'll show you how a post is set up by actually exiting here and pulling up the one I already posted to show you. So we'll click on edit here. So this is the one that we already have. I'll open it. So this is the one we already have in play. Okay, so like I said, you give it a title. All the information goes in here. You can actually link content by just highlighting that content and then linking it, like any other thing. You paste in the URL. So these ones are blue here is actually linked. Okay. So like I said, the content editor is split into 3 sections: the left-hand menu, the editor, which is the menu, and then the publisher, and then the format of the pages on the very right-hand side. So this right here should be actually a standard format. I had it set to audio, and audio is pretty much assuming if you're gonna be like podcasting or having an audio play somewhere, and you can, if you want to, and then when you create a blog, you want to make sure you create the correct categories. So this category is like wrong. This is no salmons. So
Thank you.
if I go in here, see under post it says categories. There's salmons. I want to delete this. And you can keep adding your categories. So you can create categories for all the service you provide, which is,
Oh, I see. So your category would be like nonprofit or training the trainer, so they can find what they're looking for.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh, great. Oh,
Okay.
good. Okay.
So that'll be your category. That way, when you start blogging, you can arrange your blog under those categories. Okay. So
Alright.
So going back to the page, you can keep adding categories right here too, Karen. But
Okay.
if you want to manage this category section under post, you go into the categories and then we can get rid of it. Okay.
You just get rid of it. That's funny. It's not there, but it's still showing.
Yeah, and the reason is because I haven't updated the page.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's why it's still showing that as an option. But if I update the page, it will. I'm just gonna stick this as uncategorized, and I'll update the page. See if that takes that out. See that it's gone. There's no more salmons.
Okay.
Okay, so you can keep adding that. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. That's great.
There's this too, tags. So what a tag is, it helps search engines understand what the blog post is about. So like team building, you can add that as a tag. And usually when you create the tags, these tags each time you blog will be there for you to keep adding tags. Okay, so I'll publish this and show you where the tags show up. Update this and then go back into this. The blog is gone, and the reason why it's gone, well, you take a look at what I'm doing here. It's gonna be a little bit 1, 2, 3, section 3. Okay, so this what this happens, this is controlling the categories to Karen. So on the bottom here, you pretty much have control over what needs to show here, because you don't want your whole blog showing on your footer. Kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
Because if you start blogging, you have like 20 pages. So here, what you do is you tell them that within these categories, so say you create all your categories, you can come here and select all these categories and tell it to only display 3. Not any more than.
Okay.
I wouldn't go not any more than 5, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the more it goes, it's gonna push this page all the way down. It's gonna look weird. And then you just have it show the most recent, and it is gonna show the most recent by default category. So when we save this, you're gonna see that this is gonna show up again. See that it shows up. Okay. So to get here, it's appearance, widget, and it's the footer third column. So if you take a look here, there's 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the third column that's it's sitting in. Okay. And that's why I created a video for this. I'll send it to you when we're done. You can always refer to it. But yeah, again, everything that you see on the page, you can pretty much go in and edit it without being a programmer. Okay.
Right. Okay. So just let me ask you one more question about the blog. I happen to I've been starting working with a social media strategy consultant, and I wrote an article last week and put it on LinkedIn and put it on Facebook. But that really should be a blog, correct? So that we got that traffic back here.
Yeah. So let me kind of explain that to you. So when you start doing all your digital marketing, there's several elements that play, Karen. There's something called on-page optimization and off-page optimization. Okay, the way we categorize that is on-page optimization is anything within the website. Okay, that includes your blog, and then off-page is anything that's related to you that's somewhere else on a different website. Okay, that in turn brings the user back to your website. So trying to understand how the way digital marketing works is both those elements play a huge role. That you need to have content that's blocked outside of the website that points people to the site. You want to make sure you always have your URL. If you do any publication elsewhere, that brings people to your site. What that does is it creates what's called backlinks. Okay, and the backlinks are signals that help search engines understand how to rank you online. Okay. The second thing is blogging. The frequency of your blogging and the quality of your blog, the kind of traffic it commands within the industry helps boost your ranking, and both of them are necessary to do. But one most important thing is that each time you blog content, you want to synchronize it on social media. What that means is that you share on all the major social media platforms and have it point back to your website. Okay. So
the article that I wrote last week, I can't remember what it was called, but something team building, and I happened to notice you liked it.
Right.
I should have written that as a blog and then shared it to those other things, to LinkedIn and to Facebook, or should I have published it on LinkedIn and just pointed it back to the website?
And that's what I just tried to explain you. The correct answer is that you can do it both ways.
Okay, then that's what I got. Okay.
Right, but you kind of need to understand the strategy a little bit more in terms of what it's doing. So when you blog outside a platform that already has a huge following, what you're trying to do is you're trying to direct traffic to your site. With qualified leads. Okay. At the same time, you can still do that on your website and share that information. Okay, all of them gives different types of signals, but all of them are necessary to do in terms of digital marketing. So you can do one that's published on LinkedIn, The next time you do one that's published on your website, you can still share it on LinkedIn and push traffic, vice versa.
Okay, perfect. Great
Okay.
strategy.
So that said, I think I've answered all the questions. One thing is your Facebook, Karen. Your Facebook page is not set up as a business. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Right. And so I'm meeting with somebody tomorrow to help me with, I have several Facebook pages, but can I change this to a business and not lose those followers?
I believe so. I don't know how you have it set up. I don't know if it's just a private. If it's just a personal Facebook page that you have set up, then you're gonna have a little bit of issues transitioning it. But if it's not, you should be able to go in and because what happens is, friend request sent. I've requested a friend to be part of this, but I don't think you ever got it. So you haven't approved. You don't want people to request. It's kind of like a closed group is what it looks like.
Right, you want them to be liking it.
Yeah, you want it to be a public page whereby people can just like it without it being enclosed to increase your engagement.
Right.
So
okay, I'll work on that. I'll see what I can do to get that checked.
Okay. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk about will be the hosting, because you had questions and a few things. So what we did initially to get the site going, Karen, was we did something called, we pointed the DNS to the new server. So what the DNS is that your URL canvascreekbuilding.com has an address, and we just changed the building where it sits, but it's still, your URL is still with your previous provider. Okay. And the reason we couldn't do that too, if you remember, was the emails. And I believe you told me that you don't care about the emails that exist, but we can just change them. Am I correct?
Yeah, I went in and looked at it this morning, and I did save about a dozen emails, there's like now probably 20 emails that are for Karen at Canvas 15, but everything else is cleaned up and gone. And
okay. So what happens is when you fully transfer, so there's a process to it, okay? And the reason there's a process is just to protect you, the consumer, from people stealing your domain. So there's a transitional process whereby you go in and request for the domain transfer. They give you a transfer key. The other hosting domain provider will then have to unlock the key, and then it waits for about a week to fully get transferred, to allow, if there's any dissatisfaction or whatever, allow you a period to change your mind. But what happens is there's something called propagation. Okay, so propagation is that when you change the domain home, it has to repropagate, because every website propagates all over the world. So there's several super servers that when people click your domain URL, it hits those servers to pull your content. That when you change that, it has to repropagate your site to all those servers. So there's a little bit of a downtime that happens. In some cases, there's not. But just to let you know, that's what's going to happen. You need to make sure that we fully transfer that process, and when that's done, then you can cancel service with your other provider.
Okay.
So my question is, how many emails do you need, Karen? And
how many email accounts do I need?
Correct.
So I need info at Canvas Creek Teams, Karen at Canvas Creek Teams, and that's all that I use right now.
Okay. And how do you currently retrieve your emails? Do you use like Outlook?
Correct. I send them to Outlook and then to my Apple, whatever that is, iOS.
Okay. So you use your phone and Outlook.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So with the current package plan that you have, it doesn't cost you anything to have those 2 emails, by the way. So all that needs to happen is we just need to initiate the transfer, Karen. Allow me some time. I'm gonna have to go back in with the process, and I'll kind of give you a heads up as to what's gonna happen, because usually there is a little bit of a downtime that happens, and then when that's complete, you can then totally cancel that account.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't know if I have, but I could forward those emails to a different account so that when we're in the process, we're not worried about losing anything. Should I do that?
Yeah. So all the forward does is pretty much it creates a copy and it sends it to a different email account that you can have, which is fine. But when you're doing the transfer process, it truly doesn't matter. It's just pretty much, and hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. I've done it so many times that it's pretty seamless if we've already pointed your domain to the current server that is being transferred to. Okay. So I don't foresee you having an issue. The only thing is when it's set up, I'm gonna give you information on how to configure your Outlook and your iOS to retrieve that. So allow me some time. Probably gonna be by next week that I'll complete that process. But I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions?
All right.
Any other questions? Or are we good?
No, those were the big things. I appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good. I'll end the call up here and I'll try and send you this video too, just for your keepsake, and you can reference it when need be.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Karen. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.